Imagine yourself in a dusty, forgotten corner of an old library, the air thick with the scent of aging paper and leather bindings. You unfurl a large, brittle map, its surface a delicate web of faded ink and pastel colors. The coastlines are familiar, the great oceans are where you expect them to be, but the names sprawled across the landmasses are peculiar, almost alien. You trace a finger over a vast territory labeled Austro-Hungarian Empire, or a significant swathe of land called Prussia. A question, simple yet profound, forms. Where did this country go? The map is not fiction. It is a snapshot of a world that once was, a document testifying to the fluid, ever-changing nature of political geography. The lines we draw on maps, so authoritative, can be as transient as ink on a windswept page. Nations rise, flourish, expand, and then through war, treaty, revolution, or the shifting will of their people, they recede. First, let us turn our attention to the formidable Ottoman Empire. Its origins stretch back to the late 13th century, and at its zenith, it was a colossal power, stretching from the gates of Vienna in the north to the sands of Yemen in the south, encompassing vast territories in Europe, Asia, and Africa. For over 6 centuries, it was central to global politics. Its decline was long, but the final curtain fell after the Great War. Defeated alongside the Central Powers, it was dismantled by the victors, most notably through the Treaty of Sèvres. A young man in Constantinople in 1918 might have called himself Ottoman, only to watch the Turkish War of Independence create the Republic of Turkey and new nations from former provinces. Another giant was the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a sprawling dual monarchy. Established in 1867 under the Habsburgs, it united many ethnicities: Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Poles, Slovaks, and more. Defeat in World War I sealed its fate. By November 1918, nationalist movements declared independence. A baker in Prague who looked to Vienna as his capital became a citizen of Czechoslovakia, his identity transformed by a distant treaty. Then there was Prussia, once synonymous with military discipline and power. From a Baltic duchy, it grew through alliances and conquest into a dominant German kingdom. In 1871, Prussia drove German unification, its king becoming German emperor. After 2 world wars, the name became entwined with militarism. In 1947, the Allies formally abolished Prussia, its lands divided between Allied-occupied Germany and Poland. A Königsberg history teacher, proud of Frederick the Great, saw his city renamed Kaliningrad and Prussia vanish. These empires fell for related yet distinct reasons. World War I shattered old orders and unleashed nationalism. Treaties redrew borders. The human cost was immense: new allegiances, new languages, new national stories. The 20th century birthed grand experiments in unity, none more so than Yugoslavia. Formed in 1918, its very name meant Land of the South Slavs, intended to unite Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, Bosniaks, and others. Under Josip Broz Tito, the delicate balance held. After Tito's death, nationalism and economic crisis resurfaced, pulling the federation apart. The early 1990s breakup was brutal, marked by a series of devastating wars. Athletes who wore the unified colors soon competed for newly independent teams, facing former teammates. Also born in 1918, Czechoslovakia emerged from Austria-Hungary's dissolution, flourished between the wars, was consumed by Nazi Germany, and later re-emerged under the Soviet sphere. Differences persisted, and by 1993, leaders peacefully agreed to part. The Velvet Divorce created the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Families awoke citizens of a new country. Passports and currency changed without a shot fired. The German Democratic Republic, East Germany, arose from the Soviet zone in 1949, a front line of the Cold War, divided by the Iron Curtain and the Berlin Wall. In 1989, borders opened. Momentum for reunification became unstoppable, and on October 3, 1990, the GDR was absorbed into the Federal Republic. A factory worker gained freedom to travel, and the uncertainties of a new capitalist reality. 3 paths to dissolution: violent fracture, peaceful separation, and reunification once external pressures faded. Not all vanished countries were vast empires. Some were small, secluded kingdoms. The Kingdom of Sikkim, a Buddhist monarchy among the Himalayas, bordered by Nepal, Bhutan, and Tibet, maintained independence for centuries as a quiet buffer state. By the 20th century, a protectorate of India, Sikkim held a 1975 referendum and voted to abolish the monarchy and merge. A monk watched the royal flag lowered as Sikkim became India's 22nd state. Like, share, and subscribe to Open Mind Flows.